Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Punaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Om Purnamatav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyaptatehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. So, we have already seen that Yajnavalkya wants to leave. He wants to take sannyasa, and so he invited both of his wives and declared that since I am now going to take up the life of sannyasa, I will divide my wealth between the two of you. Katyayani took her share, and Maitreyi challenges him. She almost challenges him. She questions that the wealth which you are leaving for me means even if I get the wealth which is comparable to the entire earth filled with wealth, the earth which is surrounded by ocean, Prithvi Vittena Purnasyat, even if that kind of earth filled with wealth is given to us, will it give me immortality? So it can be interpreted the three ways. That either she is asking that can this confer immortality, one, or she is questioning that how can it give? And third, even challenging him that can it give this? And you want us to settle for this. You know, it is like parents sometimes they want to go out, want to go for a function or something, and they give children some toys, etc. at home, and they go. It is something like this. Here Yajnavalkya is going for something better, something higher, the loftiest, and he gives the wealth to his wives. So she had the guts, she had that profundity to understand that you are giving us this. Are you asking us to settle for this? And is it can be interpreted in any way, either question or questioning or challenge, whatever. But she said that, can it give? And he also replied, no, in no way can immortality be connected to wealth. Yes, comfort and wealth can be connected. Comfort can be connected with wealth, but immortality can never be, in no way is it equal to wealth. So he said, yes, just as people live comfortably with wealth and all the upakaranas, so also you will be able to live with this wealth in that manner. But immortality cannot be gained. She is very clear in her choice that I want nothing but immortality. And have I come here for comforts? Have I come here for wealth? No. She knows very clearly the purpose of life. She knows that this life is meant for something higher and not run of the mill. And she doesn't want to settle for anything less than that. And she made it explicit before Yajnavalkya and said that I want that immortality from you, which means you know that, and please tell me what you know. So Yajnavalkya ji was very, very happy to learn, to hear this from her. And he said it, that you were always dear to me, and now you are more dear to me. She had won his heart in the form of wife, in the form of his companion, and now she is winning his heart in the form of student also, in the form of disciple also, as Jignasu also. She has won his heart. When this kind of questions are posed before a person who is wedded to this, the person, Yajnavalkya ji, is wedded to this. He is wedded to truth, and he is on the verge of his journey to that. And when he sees the similar thing in his wife, he is very much pleased. And he said, please come. Oh my dear, please come and sit before me and listen to what I say with rapt attention. Nididhyasasva, which means what? Nididhya means not just stop thinking, but ponder over, deliberate over what I'm going to say. Because it calls for lot of attention, sharp thinking. So, in that mood of mind, in that framework of mind, you please listen. This is what he said. And now he gives his reply. Now he begins his teaching. So let us read on page number 26. Not page 26. Yes, 26 only. Sorry, page 25. 25, sorry. Sahovacha Nava are patyuh kamaya Patih priyo bhavati Atmanastu kamaya Patih priyo bhavati Nava are Jayayai kamaya Jaya priya bhavati Atmanastu kamaya Jaya priya bhavati Nava are Putranam kamaya Putra priya bhavanti Atmanastu kamaya Putra priya bhavanti. See, we'll read the rest of the passage later. Because he says a very, very important, makes a very important statement. As we said in the beginning, that there are some statements of the Upanishads which are so profound, so pithy, that we have to underline them, highlight them, and go back to them again and again and see what they mean. Here he says, Nava are patyuh kama. Oh my dear, it is not for the sake of pati, not for the sake of the husband. Patyuh kamaya. It is not for the sake of the husband that husband is loved by the wife. Patihi priyo bhavati. It is not for the sake of the husband that husband is loved by the wife. But for what? Atmanastu kamaya patihi priyo bhavati. it is for the sake of the Atma, sake of the self, that husband is loved. This does not apply only to husband, to wife also. So see, in that order it is given. Then it is said, Nava are jayayai kamaya jaya priya bhavati. It is not for the sake of the wife, something in the wife, that she is lovable. But for the sake of husband loves the wife, not for the sake of the wife, but because of the self, because of the sake of the self. It is because the self is lovable. It is because I love the self that the husband loves the wife and wife loves the husband. Then a long list is given. We will go into that. In the same way, the third one, Nava are putranam kamaya putraha priya bhavanti. It is not for the sake of children, it's for the sons. In the Vedic times, son was also always more important than the daughter. Why? Because she is going to go away. Plus, it is the son who does the tarpana, etc., for parents, so that they get a better place in the higher realms. All that was done by the son. So that is our tradition. So that is why always. But that doesn't mean that daughters are not loved. But this is just in the Vedic times, the importance is always to the son. But here, that is not our point. What is the point is that it is not for the sake of children or sons that they are loved. It is for the sake of the self that sons are loved. Now, what does it show? It shows that my only love affair is going on with the self. Love for the self is supreme in life. At every moment, always, I love nothing but the self. And the husband is loved not because of himself, but because he is agreeable to me, he reflects me. See, the problem in our life is that we don't have high esteem of ourselves. We don't love ourselves. And therefore, when others are conducive to us, when the husband is conducive to the wife, agreeable to wife, then he helps her in loving herself. Understand this very well. In the same way, when somebody is agreeable to you, favorable to you, then they help you in loving yourself. So always what we are seeking is to feel nice about ourselves, to be pleased with ourselves. But that today, because of ignorance, I am not able to do. Because of ignorance, my understanding, my perception of myself is very low. But still, that need is there. Need for what? Need for feeling good. Need for always being happy. That need is there. I am not able to fulfill that myself. I don't think I am lovable. And therefore, I, through others, and naturally here, who will be the first? Naturally, for spouse, that is the person, he or she, to whom I am most connected. My life is connected to them. And naturally, therefore, our life is dependent upon them. And so, when they are favorable, when they are helping us in every way, agreeable to us, then understand that they help me in coming to myself, in helping me in accepting myself. Otherwise, because of ignorance, that non-acceptance of the self is there. I always need others' help, depend upon them, rely upon them. Don't feel good about myself on my own. And when husband and wife, vice versa, when they reflect me, then I like them. See, it is comparable to a mirror. I love the mirror. I like to see all the time in the mirror whenever I get a chance. Why? Not for the sake of the mirror. Not for the sake of the mirror. But why do I love the mirror? Because it reflects me. It reflects me. That is why I love the mirror. They say, that when I look at the mirror when I first bought it, that was the time I looked at the mirror. In the shop, when I went to buy the mirror, that was the only time when I actually looked at the mirror for itself. But after that mirror came in my room, I'm looking at the mirror not for the mirror, but because it reflects me. So just as I love the mirror, not for what it is, but because it reflects me. And we love ourselves so much that even early in the morning, there is nothing proper about me. No shower, no brush, not even brushed, but still go in the mirror near the sink and look at what is there to look? What is so beautiful at that time? Everything is unkempt. And still we go and first of all look. All this reflects, shows my love for myself. So understand, our love affair all the time is going on for what? All the time for myself. And others who help me do this, I like them. Understand? Moment people start getting they are unfavorable. They are not agreeable to me, not in simple things, but in serious matters. When they start showing me my defects, all the time criticizing me, you don't know anything. You are not a good husband. You are not a good father. What have you earned? What have you brought for me? You never made me happy. Because you have no, some such thing, Even wife is subjected to this. Anybody for that matter. When they criticize you, hate you, then they show you that side which you don't like to accept. Then they make you confront the side which you are running away from. And that is why you no more like that person. Think of this. Even if they are right in what they are saying, that you don't know anything, that may be right, and I know it myself. But I look at you for what? For support. I look at you for what? Helping me in accepting myself. And when you don't do that, people don't know all this. And then they talk in any way, behave in any way, humiliate other person, abuse them. No more do I like them. Why? Because now they present before me that face, that aspect of me, which I have hard time in accepting. I don't like it. And so, when you stop reflecting me, when you stop being agreeable to me, I no more like you. Why are the relationships breaking? Two persons may be in love with each other in the beginning. When they start living together, then their reality comes out. Then what happens? Then you see that side. You stop being agreeable. You start fighting, arguing. And then you can't accept. Then they always show the side which you don't like to accept. You are running away from that. And so, I love you, I love you, I love you. In the beginning, I love you, love you, love you. And then what starts? I love you, means you go. You are free to go. That which began as love then gets so bitter. The same person we begin to hate. Such disgusting fights are there in the courts, in front of people. Why? Simply because of the love affair with myself. You no more reflect me in a good light, in the pleasing way which I like to see myself. Understand this very well. So, happens with mirror also. So if there are cracks in that, it's not cleaned very well, not scrubbed, very dirty, if the mirror, then what kind of reflection is it going to give me? I will not like it. I will first go and clean it, or throw that mirror and get a new one. So, we must know this. This is very, very important in life, that I love myself. And I love you since you help me in loving myself. When we don't know this, most of the people don't know this, how to come across other persons, how to live life, being together. We don't have this kind of education. After some time, the attraction goes away. And then, if one doesn't know this art, it is not scheming. But we must know that we are here to help others, not break them apart. Don't be harsh. Don't be rough. Don't always be criticizing. Be tolerant. Then you will help the other person love themselves. But the way we speak, way we behave, way we talk, turns other person off. Is it not right? And then you are no more ready to live together, not even ready to look at each other. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. It is because of the self, and that self, the side which you show me, I don't like it. So why should I put up with you? I cannot put up with you, regardless of who that is, whether husband or wife or son also. Son is most lovable to parents. But the same son doesn't care. It is because you are helpless, so you live with them. But if you had your own independence, you will not put up with all this. Understand. At the core of this is love for oneself. It is just one way love affair going on. You may ask me that, is it not being selfish? That everybody loves their own selves? No. This is not being selfish. Why? Simply because who is the one that I love? Atma, myself. Who is the one that you are devoted to? Who are you loving? Who are you loving? Self. The center or the object of everybody's love is what? Atma. How many Atmas are there? Is my Atma different from yours? So the one I am loving is the one you are loving. Everywhere the self is the same. So this is not being selfish. More we understand this, more we will help others in loving themselves. Not because we are helpless, no, because we understand that I have to help them accept themselves. We have to help others in accepting themselves. That is the most important thing. People need that more than food, and those are the things, are the needs of the body to survive. But most important thing that a person needs in life is this: help me accept myself. People don't know this. We have to know all this. This is being practical and really helping others. It is seva of Atma, really. When you are conducive, it doesn't mean that you just, even if they are wrong, you just go on saying yes, yes, yes. No. But don't hate them. Don't hate them. Don't say, I dislike you. See the person behind this costume, behind this disposition. The person behind that is nothing but Atma. It is Satchidananda Atma. Poor fellow doesn't know. Poor woman doesn't know that. You help them know that. But unfortunately, the people concerned, both the parties do not know this. Both the parties do not know this. And that is why fight and argument and all the time, just the relationships are not maintained. If it is happening with one, it can happen with other, with third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Because I remain the same. I don't look at myself. So, we have to understand that I love others not for their sake, but because I love myself. And that is the case everywhere. Everywhere. Then, if this dawns on me, and Shastra is there to help us, then we will help others. This is being, because the love for the self is supreme. And that is not for 1 second or 2 seconds or 1 day or 2 days. It is there forever. Ever. Whoever he is or she is loves the self. Plus, love for the self is unconditional. Unconditional. But love for others is what? Conditional. I will love you provided. If you do this for me, do that for me, do this for me, so on and so forth. You know why? Because when I put conditions on you, I need not put conditions on myself. When I put conditions on you, and when you listen to that, abide by that, be agreeable to that, then I am fine. I need not correct myself. Because by putting condition, you have to dress like this. You have to talk like this. You don't have to talk with others. Whatever, whatever may be my insistences with respect to other person. When you do that, I need not change myself. You change, that is why we expect others to change. You change so that I am comfortable. So that I need not worry or take any efforts to change myself. Becomes very easy. So I put demands upon you. You means this everybody does to each other. We put demands on others. to be agreeable to us, so that it helps us accepting ourselves. Watch this in all our relationships, in all our interactions. We have to take a note of this, make a note of this. How we are trying to control others. We try to control them, force them overtly or in different ways, subtly, expecting them to change so that I can accept myself. Because moment you go against my expectations, it is hard for me to accept you. Hard for me. And then when this increases, then slowly and slowly we separate. And we nowadays, we go by the name, I give space to you. Giving space. Giving space means you do whatever you like. I don't care. I don't care. But I care. I would care if you be like if you follow my rules, my demands, meet my demands. And if that is not there, then bye-bye. You go your way, otherwise highway. I will go my way. Life doesn't go, life is not to be lived in this manner. But here, and I don't put any conditions on me. However I am, whatever I am, I like myself. There is not a single moment when I don't love myself. Even if I speak a lie, my love for myself doesn't go away. Even if I do wrong, my love for myself doesn't go. I continue to love. So as far as the love for the self is concerned, unconditional. No conditions. But for others, conditional. All this is pointing to one thing. What? That love for the self is paramount in life. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. We will read the rest of the passage. See, Shruti, Upanishad has this method. It will just not stop by saying one thing. And then you work it out yourself. No glossing over. Because then, in each and every case, we have to see this with respect to wife, with respect to son, with respect to other things. Because in life, yes, the spouse comes first, then sibling, then children, offsprings, children will come, then other things. So in sequence, you will see, make a note of this, that the preceding one is more dear than the following one. That is how the sequence is given here. So now the first one was husband, then came wife, then came son, and now see. Nava are vittasya kamaya vittam priyam bhavati atmanastu kamaya vittam priyam bhavati nava are brahmana kamaya brahma priyam bhavati atmanastu kamaya brahma priyam bhavati nava are kshatrasya kamaya kshatram priyam bhavati atmanastu kamaya kshatram priyam bhavati nava are lokanam kamaya lokah priya bhavanti atmanastu kamaya lokah priya bhavanti Nava are devanam kamaya Deva priya bhavanti Atmanastu kamaya Deva priya bhavanti Nava are bhutanam kamaya Bhutani priyani bhavanti Atmanastu kamaya Bhutani priyani bhavanti Nava are sarvasya kamaya Sarvam priyam bhavati Atmanastu kamaya Sarvam priyam bhavati. See, a long list is given. Because we are related to so many things in life. To some generally and to certain things particularly. So all of that is given. And we should work out, do this exercise everywhere. In each and every relationships. So that we will know how to straighten that. How to bring about changes over there. So it says, see, Navare vittasya kamaya vittam priyam bhavati. Wealth is also not loved for the sake of wealth. Just for the sake and the touch of the currency. I don't love that. The currency, a dollar or rupee. Not just for the sake. Otherwise it would have been enough to be a cashier. In the bank or somewhere. You keep on touching the money, counting them. That doesn't make me happy. What makes me happy is because of what the wealth gives. Because the wealth gives me what I want. That is why the wealth is loved, not for the sake of itself. When the wealth also, you come to know that this is the cause of the separation between two brothers. When you realize that, then you realize that this artha has become anartha. Artha, money, has become the cause of anartha between the two. Then that attraction will go. At least I will understand certain things from them. Then, Nava are Brahmanaha kamaya brahma priyam. Brahmanaha here means Brahmin. The Brahmin is also not loved for the sake of the Brahmana. But because he is in some way helpful to me. He teaches me. In the olden times, the knowledge came from Brahmins. They were the one who were doing all the rituals, etc. And highly revered in our society, particularly in those days. So, Brahmana was lovable, not for himself, but for the sake of the self. Then, Navari kshatrasya kamaya kshatram priyam bhavati. A kshatriya, a warrior, he protects us. He is the one who protects the law and order, protects us. That is why we love him. That is why we love the police and all that. Why? Because we need their protection. Not for themselves. Everywhere, self comes in the center. Then, Nava are lokanam kamaya lokaha priya bhavanti. Lokas mean realms. In our Vedic tradition, particularly again, those times, they had this samskaras of going to Swarga and different lokas. These lokas, these realms are different. They have different levels of happiness. So they were loved. They were liked. They were desired for. Not for the sake of it, but because I thought that that place is full of happiness. It is very well known that in Swarga, there is no old age, no hunger, no thirst, just happiness. So, because I want that, I love that. Not for itself, but what it can confer. Then, Nava are Devanam kamaya devapi. Again, with reference to devatas also. With reference to different deities. We propitiate deities, different devatas. Why? Because they give us, we desire from them, we wish from them what we want. Ganesha, supposing. Then for me, what is Ganesha? He is the one who takes away all, who removes all obstacles from my life. So when I am surrounded by obstacles, so I worship the Devata. Why? So that he removes the obstacles of my life. And it is common that when that doesn't happen, we stop. I have been doing puja for whole my life and nothing happened. When that love, when the appreciation of the truth is not there, and when we are always craving for something, when we have agendas, when we stop getting that, when we don't get that, understand that love will also not remain. That intensity won't remain. Because whatever a human being does, there is this agenda. This agenda is built in. What agenda? How is it helpful to me? How does it help me? What should I do so that I feel good about? That is, our whole life is centered around only this. In what way what should I do so that I feel good about myself? For that we go to change our places, go to different cities, towns, countries, do so many things in our appearance, in our belongings, so many things we keep on doing. Why? So that I can accept myself. So that I can accept myself. Just think over this. Because today I am not able to love myself just as it is, as I understand it to be. I think that this ego is the self. And that is incomplete. That is limited. And so, I need the world and people of the world and things of the world to be conducive to this ahankara, which I think is the Atma. And for the benefit of that, for the peace of mind of that ahankara, I hold on to things. But the whole point here is this, and that is why this is being said. Remember the first chapter which we did? In the first lecture, we saw what was the sutra over there? Atma iti eva upasita. Remember? It was said in the first chapter that may you know the Atma as Atma. May Atma iti eva upasita means what? May you meditate upon the self means what? Not meditating, but knowing. May you know that this is Atma. It is full. It is complete. It is fine as it is here and now. Don't forget this. That time I said it is around this one statement that the whole Upanishad is built. And there it was said, again, when we were doing the first chapter, there was a mantra 148 which said Tadetat preyaha putrat, preyaha vittat, preyaha anyasmat sarvasmat. Atma is dearer than son, dearer than that came. That which was said in a aphoristic manner over there is being elaborated here. Understand? That is being elaborated. That was simply mentioned in emphasizing the need to know the self there. And that was just an aphorism over there, just mentioned. But here it is being expounded very well. So, we should know that I love myself. And Yajnavalkya ji is doing this deliberately. There is a certain tatparya, intention in his mind. See, when the teaching is done, it is done in a systematic manner. Teacher knows how to communicate. Teacher should have that art of communication. Yajnavalkyaji is doing that with a purpose. He knows what has gone by in the first chapter. Means he knows this, that the important thing in life is to know the self as self. But that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen because our attention is scattered in the world in different degrees. In different degrees, the world and the people and the things occupy our attention. Hardly are we looking at ourselves. Otherwise, Atma is fine and full and complete and lovable and happiness. It should be fine with me. But that doesn't happen. We are attracted here, attached there. Can't do without this, can't live without that person. That shows what? That I don't know that self is full. And so my mind is divided. My mind is divided, splintered in thousands of places, several beings. There are some people for whom even pat, that's fine. They cannot live without that. It is loved not for the sake of the pet, we should add there, this one thing. Because in Vedic times, they perhaps didn't know this. Not for the sake of the pet, but for myself. Why? Because that small thing, loves me. Always, however I may be. But comes to me, embraces me, shows the love. Human beings do not do that much. That much it will do. And so I like it. I need it. I need it very badly. That somebody should love me as I am. Wife may not do that all the time. All the time you have no other business than asking for tea and coffee and this and that. Who has the time? Do you think I am not tired? I have also come from work. Who will you get up and do it? Things like that. These are simple things. I am talking about simple things. But that pet will not do that. I may be frowning and everything, but he will come. He or she or whoever will come. And all my anger will go. All my, frown will go. I feel light over there. See, why? I get that acceptance. Understand? We get that acceptance. We want others to accept us. That support is required. It's not correct. It should not be like that. But it is there today. In ignorance. All the while that support is needed. Help me. Love me. Accept me. And when that doesn't happen as per my demands, I think we should give space to each other. We need to give space to each other. After giving space also nothing will happen. Because things don't change that easily. And if it changes, well and good. All this should be big lessons. Why? See, when we continue to dislike, hate, then what happens, Rather than bridging that gap, we are elongating that. We are elongating. Even though I may be justified in thinking that what they have done is incorrect, but still remember, when I continue with my dislike and hatred, then what happens? The distance becomes more and more. Distance, the gap is widened. Tit for tat. You did this, I will do this. I will do 2 times more. But we don't realize that we are elongating the distance. On the contrary, what should it be? If we want to bridge it, fine. I have the largeness of heart to forgive. This is it may sound impractical. It may sound impossible. But this is the way. This is the way. And so, help them, accept them. In the long run, or by that I'm helping myself. I'm helping myself. That dislike which is disturbing me inside is going away. I feel light. I feel better. So, this is what. And here, as I said, Yajnavalkya is doing with a purpose. Why? Because the focus of life, the center of life, and what we have to know is the self. So, to bring back the focus of Maitreyi, or any seeker for that matter, to bring back the focus to the self, this is done. Because we think we love others. You love your own self. Your love affair is with yourself. So rather than paying your attention out there, become introvert. Focus your attention to the self. Know that, then you have known everything. When I know myself, think this also is worth thinking. Pay attention to this. When I love myself, the self, who do I love actually? Everyone. By loving the self, I'm loving everyone. Am I right or not? By respecting myself, the self, accepting the self, I'm accepting everyone. Provided my understanding of the self is what? Not confined to this 5 feet. No. Self is everything. It is one self. So, when I love, when I understand, when I accept this fully, everybody is accepted. I don't have to make a separate effort to love you. You understand what I'm saying? I need not make a separate effort. If my understanding of the self is correct, that it is Sat Chit Ananda Brahma. Brahma means what? Bruhatvat. It covers everything. When I know that that is the self, then where is it not? So, by loving this is not being selfish. This is actually helping others. And automatically, when this is that is why, saints, you will find in them that in their love, in their compassion, everybody is covered. Adveshta sarva bhutanam, maitraha karuna evacha, nirmamaha nirahankaraha. Why? Because there is no sense of I in this but one body, given body, personality. No, I am everything. Automatically, as a consequence, love is there for everything. You follow? So it becomes very natural. Compassion is, I have compassion for myself. Do I not have compassion for myself? Even though I have committed some crime or something, I forgive myself, love myself, no problem in that. the same thing will be translated everywhere. This is what the knowledge does. That is why it was said, Atma iti eva upasita. May you know yourself as Atma. All this is exposition of that. This is nothing but exposition of that. The whole Upanishads revolves around this. Vidya Sutra, it was said, Vidya Sutra, it was an aphorism regarding knowledge. Knowledge of what? Atma. And you become everything. When you know Aham Brahmasmi, Tasmat Tat Sarvam Abhavat. When he knew himself as Brahma, then what? He became everything. Did he become? Tell me, did he become? Does the clay become all the pots? When the pot, remember. Yes, we have. When the clay here, this is better. When the clay here comes to know that it is what? Clay. Then, did it become all the spots? Did it become? No. It already was. But so long as it thought that I am pot, this pot, then felt a sense of separation from this one, and inferiority come because I am so small. Look at me, look at my size. And look at the size of this one. And look at the size of this one. So, complex and competition and comparison, everything begins. But when I came to know that I am clay, which is a fact, then at that moment itself, Tasmat Tat Sarvam Abhavat. Tasmat means what? From that knowledge, because of that knowledge, nothing had to be done physically. Nothing had to be enlarged. No. By the very fact of knowing, became everything. So what is lacking in life? Tell me. What we lack is knowledge, nothing else. Only knowledge is lacking. Brahma Veda, Brahmaiva Bhavati, Mundak says. When you know yourself as Brahma, you become Brahma. Are you cannot become anything if you are not. You may not. This pot will take long time to become like this. Not easy. And if it is not there in Prarabdha, can never become like this. But if it knows itself as clay, my God. Pots not only in America, but everywhere. This fellow here. But no more remains fellow. Why? Now clay. That fellow has gone. By knowing that I am clay, this is the shift. Yajnavalkya wants, this is a prakriya that he has adopted. Prakriya means model, a method by which shift the focus from others to oneself. That is the intention behind this. Because as long as we are focused elsewhere, I pick this, and if I don't like, I give it up. And then again, this goes on and on. Rather than that, focus your attention here. Here means not here, Atma, the core, the reality, then everything is over. To do that, he focuses the attention, wants to shift the attention of Maitreyi. Maitreyi was already focused, but this is a method from others, from husband, from wife, from son, from wealth, from everything. To what? To the self. To the self. And now you know it. Atmanastu, Atma iti eva upasita. May you know yourself as nothing but the self. And if you don't know, then what will happen? That is also shown to us. If you don't know this, there is nothing but fear, littleness, helplessness, wretchedness in life. When we feel helpless, helpless, it is wretchedness, you know. You can't accept it. Understand, all this Brahman is going through. Brahman, who has no need to, but ignorance does this. Ignorance is capable of doing this. Avidya. Avidya. And what is that avidya? Nothing but notions here. Avidya comes in the form of notions. And so we give it up. Don't entertain that. Focus, so it is said, that things are loved not for the sake of themselves, but for the sake of the self. Self is important. Self is important. But if it is not pointed out, if it is not pointed out that you are the most important, then what happens? It's quite possible that my focus is always elsewhere. Just as you know, there is a story of that king. He one day, there was a very big king, and he one day announced that today I'm there to meet anyone, everybody, all the citizens can come and meet me and ask anything what they like from me. But he was there in a house. His palace was in a garden, and there was a mountain top on which he was living. And so people had to pass through that garden and then reach the palace where he was. But it so happened, or he had designed it that way, that in the garden everything was kept. What was free of cost. What? Food and restaurants and jewelry and clothing and best of the things. Have it free of cost. And so people came, but nobody could reach there in the entire day. Where were they busy? They were busy in buying something, not buying, just seeing and taking. Nobody reached the king. If they could reach the king, then they could have had everything that they wanted. But people are occupied here. Similarly, Yajnavalkyaji, to shift the focus from here, what did he do? What you are loving through them is yourself. Rather than taking the distorted path, rather than taking the twisted path, rather than catching this earlobe with this and I try to do it with this one, it will be very difficult. Similarly, we are doing that in our life, loving ourselves through others. Through others. So he said, you don't really love them, you love yourself. So focus your attention upon yourself. And for that, what should I do? So that comes now. So now the importance and the focus is shifted. And then it is said, what? This we will reserve for the second class, but it is said, and therefore, Atmava are Drashtavyah, Shrotavyah, Mantavyah, Nididhyasitavyah, Maitreyi, Atmanova are Darshanena, Shravanena, Matya, Vijnanena, Idam sarvam viditam. Since Atma is the one which I love the most, and the real love is for that only, and that is why Atma should be known. It is worth knowing. How should I know that? You listen about that. Shrotavyah. And having listened, if there are doubts, then may you think about it. Mantavyah. And even then, the habitual errors are still there, then may you focus upon that by Nididhyasan. And what will happen, Maitreyi? By knowing the self, by seeing, by listening, by thinking, and by meditating upon the self, everything but everything will be known. And that we will discuss in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.